Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the June 1st meeting of the Conservation Board, Town of Penfield. And I unfortunately had some pretty serious little computer issues going on, but I'm glad to be finally with you all. And with us tonight, we have Brad Kamath, who is our liaison to the town staff. And thank you, Brad, for your service. And I understand this is going to be your last day with us. Is that correct?
It is.
And Brad, we want to thank you for your service to our board. And we also want to congratulate you. I guess you're going to be relocating down to Pennsylvania.
Yep, down to Gettysburg.
Sounds like a wonderful place to be. And do you want to tell us more about your job down there?
I took a position. I will be doing the maps for the Department of Emergency Services.
Cool.
That sounds great. And I know that you also, I believe, are an EMT here in West Webster.
Yes, EMS captain at West Webster for the last year and a half.
Well, you deserve congratulations as well as thanks for your service.
Thank you.
So we're also joined by Bert Gorton, Jeff Bartocci, Eileen Race, Daniel Moore, Debbie Draw, who is our town board person, liaison to the board, Jeff Bartocci and Paul Sugnut. And I am pretty sure that Noel Schlageter will be joining us momentarily. So with that, let's see, I see an iPhone. Is that you, Noel? Not sure. Who is with us by the iPhone?
Bert, Jim, I think that's Jeff.
Yeah, because Jeff was having computer problems.
Ah, got it. Okay, just as I was. My computer chose to do an update just as.
Yeah, I just downloaded on the phone and joined on the computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jeff. Yeah.
Noel joined us too.
Okay, great. So technology is wonderful. So we have called ourselves to order here, and I'll ask for the approval of the minutes of April 6th. That's the one that that Bert chaired while I was out of town. And
The only comment I had, Jim, is for Roman numeral 5, the board discussion. Under A, Roman numeral 7, it says Jim and Bert had no further concerns regarding the plan. I believe that should be Pat and Bert, because it was Pat and I doing it.
and Jim was not in town, so
And
yeah.
Jim wasn't in town, right?
Yeah.
It's changed.
Thank you,
Okay.
because that was the only thing I saw. I didn't have any. So I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second. Are there any other comments before we put this to bed? If I hear no objections, we'll say it was unanimously passed and approved. So thank you all. Do we have any communications, Brad?
None at this time. There are a few people that are interested in speaking to the board. I'll have Doug follow up with you in an email, probably in the next week or so.
Okay, we have any comments from the public?
None.
Okay, I'm sure we have thousands of people online watching us tonight. Probably the favorite show on television. So for board discussion tonight, you want to start us off with discussion on 2745 Penfield Road, Brad?
Yeah, let me pull it up for you. So this is 2745 Penfield Road. going to pull it up so you can also see it on a map, just to get an idea of where you are. So Penfield, just to orient you, Penfield Road is on the right side of the screen, and north also points to the right. So you're on the south side of Penfield Road. And I do not have what I'm looking for yet. Sorry, waiting for the map to pop up. And we are slowly loading. What they are proposing at this time is a single family residence on the lot. And it is a rather sizable lot at present. Maybe it'll load. If you want to take a look at the plans right now as they stand, I don't know if you can see the whole screen.
Yep.
But okay, so it's a rather large lot. They are looking at putting a single family residence at this time towards the front of it. And the map's loaded. So does this property right here that's highlighted in blue on your screen? The house will be located right about here. As you can see, it's pretty well cleared already. I don't really see any major impacts you're looking at as far as trees or anything that would have to come down. Just zoom in on the area where the house is going to be.
Oh, so that's way out 441, right?
That is way out there.
Yeah, because I
Bay is
see.
right across, and that
Yeah.
Watson, it's not too far away. You're pretty much on the edge of Penfield.
Yeah, Watson, Hurlbut. Yeah, because you're almost to Route 30, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're almost, the county line is not too far down.
Yep.
What's the acreage on this again?
Total acreage of the lot is about 36 acres.
And the proposal is?
A single family residence right about here. Potential for more a subdivision later on, but but right now they're coming in for a single family on that lot.
But apparently the intent is eventually to subdivide this?
Yeah, if that lot sells well, yes.
Okay.
As I mentioned, there's not really any substantial vegetation on the property to have to be removed. And the grading plan, it only shows that portion, but it does not appear to be substantial.
What's the frontage on Penfield Road is how many feet?
It is just shy of 500 total.
Okay, so there would be plenty of room to access future subdivision?
Yep, the plan would be a shared driveway that would break off if it went to that. There's a little bit of an area of wetland. I'm not sure it'll show on the map, but
But potentially the subdivision would be for how many additional parcels?
I don't believe that number's been decided upon yet.
But that's quite a few acres.
It is, I believe the plan was to be relatively large lots. I don't think the number was going to be a sizable amount.
I just wonder if that would be appropriate for a shared driveway.
I think the plan is it would end up being a private road at some point.
Yeah. Okay, so at this point, they're coming to us just for approval for the
This- Yep.
one lot with a proposed build.
Yep.
And when does this come before the planning board?
This would be, I believe this is the, want to say it's the July meeting.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, it's an,
this is a fairly minor project, so let's defer that discussion to the end and we'll see if we
Okay.
need a team on that one.
yeah, that one's an admin application, so it's nothing major.
Yeah. Okay, so I think your next one is 1801 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road, and that's the former Grossman's.
Correct. So we received new plans for that the other day. And you should be able to see them on your screen now. That is
Yep.
one of the mixed use development.
Yeah, remind us again in terms of mixed use. Split that out for what kind of residences and what kind of other uses.
So this property is going to be 2 apartment complexes. There may be some office space involved, as well as there's going to be a daycare on the westernmost building. The daycare will encompass this portion of this building. And then there is also a proposed commercial building that would front along Route 250. It would be approximately 136 units, I believe, as far as residences go.
How many stories?
This building is the building to the west, the farthest off of 250 is a 3-story building. The one closest to 250 is a 4-story.
And do I recall someone did take a quick look at this? Am I right?
Yeah,
We looked at the one across the road. You may have looked at this one quickly.
I think Pat and I looked at this one, didn't we? Or am I?
No, the one we looked at or talked about while I was out west was across the street from the Y.
Okay.
This is on the same side as the Y.
This is the one just north of Penfield Square, so 2 properties.
Okay,
We did do a preliminary look a few months ago. I believe it was February. I may be mistaken on that, just to
No,
get an idea that it was coming.
Yeah, Brad, if I might, yeah, I remember, I think it was the February meeting. We talked about the concept. And I think at that time we were kind of waiting, say, well, let's see what the plans are, but the general feel out of the team, is that's pretty consistent use with what's kind of going in that stretch. And, if I remember rightly, kind of the very west end, right? Because 250 North, yeah, they were staying away from the tree line. They weren't out to the tree line.
They are staying pretty much away from the tree line.
Yeah, and it was pretty much
I
just,
remember this now.
yeah, pretty much just open field type of thing. And, I don't think we had much issue with it going forward now that we've got a little bit more definitive, whether somebody wants to take them.
The majority of
they
what's
were gonna
coming
stay
down.
away- They said they were going to stay away from the tree line. I think we ascertained last time, and I think that's what it was. As long as they stayed away from that tree line, it was going to be good.
Yeah, we didn't really have much issue.
That was the plan. They would obviously be taking down the trees right around the house because that's where one of the buildings,
Right.
but they were planning on staying away from the tree line to the west.
Okay. And this comes before the planning board when?
This would be coming before the planning board for July as preliminary final.
So we've not issued a report on this at this point.
Correct.
Correct. You guys had wanted to wait until it was preliminary final.
Okay, let's move on to 1357 Jackson Road, and then once we've discussed all three of these, we'll figure out what we're gonna do.
Okay.
And just a reminder on Jackson Road, as I understand it, this is on the west side of Jackson, just north of Plank, am I correct?
Just north of Plank. Yep.
So, Jackson.
So we're just north of the turkey farm and on the
Yeah.
west
You-
side of Jackson.
So we are right here. Turkey farm's right here. So you're across from the turkey farm.
Yeah, pretty much across, yeah. Okay. And again, how many units were they proposing here?
4.
Just 4. And I don't think we've issued a report on this either, have we?
An earlier meeting, it was reviewed and the decision was to wait until preliminary final. You had stated that it was pretty much mostly a lot of scrub that you were not very worried about. But you wanted to take a look at it when it was ready for preliminary final.
And that comes before the planning board when?
That would be a June application.
Oof.
Coming before the planning board in June?
Yep.
Ah. And the date for that meeting is what?
That would be the 10th.
Coming right up.
10 days.
You guys had done an initial look at it. So
Okay, who remembers who did the initial look?
I don't think it was a physical look, Jim. I think it was just a tabletop exercise, looking at the map and kind of talking about what was coming. I don't believe any of us went out and saw it. I know I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad, what are the PRC issues with this one?
not really anything major. It had been previously approved several years ago as a, I believe, 6-lot subdivision, I think, and they have dropped it down to a 4.
Was that a recommendation by town staff?
No, they, when they came back and redesigned it, they found a way they wanted to make it work with 4 lots.
And these lots look like they'd be fairly generous lots?
They are decent size. The first lot 1 right along Jackson Road is a little bit smaller than the others. It is a little over half of an acre, but it's consistent with the other frontage lots on Jackson in the area. And then all of the other lots are 2 acres or 2.5 acres in size. And I'm going to slide this over. This is what you're looking at if you look at it from Jackson Road.
Okay, that's a good view.
Would we have done a report on it? Because Brad, you said this was approved for a 6-lot build?
Several years ago, I don't remember the exact time period,
I wonder
but
if
it
we would have done
was a substantial time ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys would have had. I don't know if it would have been reviewed at the time.
If we're going to issue a report, it's kind of tight for timeline.
Are there any significant trees?
I don't believe so. Nothing, at least nothing when you, a lot of it looks to be mostly bushes and small trees along those lines. At least looking at it from the street view, I don't see anything substantially sizable.
Okay.
Do you have an aerial view again that you can show us?
I do.
Huh.
Yeah.
It looks mostly that the shrub stuff
Yeah.
and some smaller trees.
Well, I think of the three projects that we just discussed, the Fairport 9 Mile Point Road deserves another look, an actual feet on the ground look.
Okay.
I don't think there are going to be any serious concerns. As we said, the tree line at the back of that property is probably the thing we're going to want to look at the most relative to placement of any building or any activity of building. And I wonder how well it's identified on site. Do you know, are there flags out there? Or?
I have not been out to this.
Yeah. How's everybody feeling about that one?
Yeah,
How
I
much
would think,
green space is there?
Let me pull that one back up for you guys. There is a fair amount of green space with the courtyards and everything around there. I'll pull up their landscape plan. That might show it a little bit better. They're, as you can see on the landscape plan, planning on planting a fair amount of trees onto the property. This would be a courtyard area, another courtyard area, and then there's a large, what they're referring to as pedestrian spine through the center of the property, which would be lined with grass and trees on both sides.
Where's the existing house again?
Roughly right about here.
And that's coming down, huh?
That would be coming down, yes.
So, gosh, you know, looking at this again, it sure looks like they're going to stay clear of the tree line.
The tree line, I believe, is back and over off the edge of this
Yeah.
plot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure we need any detailed report on any of these three. How are people feeling about this?
yeah, I mean, I don't have any, I don't see any issues with what they're reviewing, especially seeing this type of landscape plan that Brad's put out there in front of us, that they're cognizant of that, you know, and doing something other than just the bare minimum of throwing a couple of buildings up with parking lot.
And it's certainly consistent with our desire to have a multi-use area.
Right, right.
How does a 4-story building fit in with the area out there? I'm not familiar with it.
So I believe at that point in 250, the road is actually above the fields.
Correct.
And the drop down. So it wouldn't, from the roadway, it wouldn't appear to be a 4-story building.
That is correct, Brad.
Yeah, probably somewhere around 2.5 to 3, probably,
Okay.
which would be consistent with the rest of the mixed use development that's been going in.
Yeah, because how many stories are those?
Yeah.
What are they, townhouses that are going in beside the Y right now?
I want to say
So
3. I'm not 100% positive.
Yeah, yeah,
It's either 3 or 4.
It's
Yeah,
3 or
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
yeah. So line of sight, you know, if you think about it, because I know I was going to the Y there until the pandemic and stuff, and drive by there often, and you know, because you drop from the road from 250 kind of down to that. Paul and I think even Jim will well remember the mosquito laden trip back for looking at the Y development. But yeah, that it's not a glaring sore thumb type of look, that'll be pretty consistent across that whole, stretch of road between the Y, those other apartments, now this.
They have provided elevations. The buildings do look very nice. Just to give you guys a perspective, this is one of the buildings. So it's not going to stand out in a bad way.
It's consistent.
Yep.
Right.
So I would concur, Jim.
Yeah, I'm tempted to just send along a note to the planning board that we have no serious concerns about any of these three projects.
Okay.
I would agree.
Yeah, fine.
I
Okay,
agree.
so without objection, then that's what we'll do.
Okay.
Now, there's a timber harvesting proposal that's coming before us. And I think we hope to have an opportunity to see that proposal in person at one of the PRC meetings. Is that correct, Brad?
Yes. So the proposal will be before the PRC June 9th. So next Wednesday at 9:30 in the morning. You all are invited to attend that meeting if you would like. PRC is done in person. It is not done over Zoom. So that is the one caveat to that. You would have to be at the town hall.
No,
I'd be willing to go.
who is that spoke out? No?
No,
Yeah, that's good because unfortunately I do have a conflict on Wednesday. So that would be great, Noel. Is there anyone who would like to join in that?
Daniel had sent me an email saying he would be interested. I'm not sure if he is available on the 9th in the morning, but he had initially reached out saying he would be interested in attending.
Well, Daniel's on with us, right?
I am, yes.
Can you make that meeting, Daniel?
As far as my schedule is concerned, I can go, so.
Yeah, that would be great if you and Noel could represent us there. My concern is this. I'm not an expert on virgin forests, but I hate to see them go. And I know that there's an issue of harvesting to maintain the health of forests. And I'm not an expert on that. But I just feel uncomfortable when we talk about harvesting. I'd like to make sure it's not harvesting to excess. I understand that in California particularly, there have been all kinds of fires that have been partially laid on the doorstep of not cleaning up the brush in forests and the small timbers in forests. But again, I just feel uncomfortable with the idea of harvest.
What is the,
Losing our essentially virgin forests. So why don't we take a look at, I think there's 2 parcels, right? Take a
Three.
look at,
It's currently planned as parts of 3. It would be parts of 1423, 1385, and 1555.
so what's the definition of harvest? When I hear harvest, it sounds like somebody wants to come in and get trees for furniture and houses and log homes. Harvest doesn't sound like a term of thinning out or preventative or conservation.
So I'm not sure the exact plan. I believe you should all have received what I have on it is their initial plan that stated how many trees they were planning on taking out.
What size do they plan on taking out? Are they planning on taking out in half the good ones and leaving half? Are they coming in, like I said, are they coming in to take wood for furniture or is it just to thin out? I guess I want to know what their purpose is.
I believe it would be for a commercial use.
Okay, so it is harvesting for commercial use. It's not thinning out or doing conservation. You,
So part of the response, when part of their proposal involves the conservation aspect of thinning out some of the quote unquote bad trees in the area that would have some fire risk, anything along those lines. They do have counts in that proposal that was sent out to you all that have what types of trees they would be targeting and how many of them on each property.
Brad, this is Bert.
Yep.
Who's bringing it wasn't clear to me who's bringing this proposal to PRC.
I believe it is, I believe there's a company that works with bringing in other harvesting companies that would be able to do this work. I'm not sure of the individual's name or the company's name. I didn't have that information, and I still don't. They will, either they themselves or they will have a representative there at PRC.
so who owns the
There's-
property?
Some of it's privately owned. The one at 1555 Creek Street is now for sale by Sotheby's for a good chunk of change. There's a
Yeah.
caveat I have for you, because I've had people lumber my farm down in Steuben County. And I'll tell you what, you need to talk to the DEC forester to see what he can tell you about the reputation of the people going there, because one fellow that I had thought of taking, having doing stuff, he said, you do not want him on your property. So if we can touch base with DEC, it might be a good idea once we find out who's heading it up and who's going to do the work.
And
So-
that may be one of the things that's brought up at PRC.
I also would say I've seen some harvesting down in Andover, and they just left all the stuff they didn't want and left all the brush and everything on the ground of the stuff they didn't want, going along with what Noel was saying. Yeah, they got it out of there, but they left all the crap there.
Lots of times when they lumber, they just leave the brush. They don't haul it away.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm
And
sorry,
deadwood
but
they leave there.
well, if we back up, I mean, if this is all private property, because I know one of them I think was Empire Storage, but so you've got this group coming with a proposal. Who's the approving body and what is it they approve? I saw a reference in there to permits. Do they need to get permits from the town?
I believe there's going to be several groups that they are going to need to get permits from.
I mean, that would.
I believe there's something along the lines of possibly Department of Transportation because of Empire Boulevard.
Okay.
I'm not sure who the final go-ahead person would be.
One of
The
the
town
concerns,
has rules. They've got rules about how you can clear property or selectively take stuff out. I know that because a couple times I've dealt with people over on, next two roads over from me, over by Scribner Road.
yeah, when I read the overview, the thing that was outstanding to me, I'll just read the first couple of lines. Whoever wrote the overview said, I have had considerable interest from landowners over the past 6 years to get help in maintaining their forests and practicing responsible stewardship. That person was never identified. So I'm assuming that this is some kind of tree harvesting company, and it would have been nice if we had known from the outset who that really is. So I guess, Brad, as an action item for town staff, I would ask that you find that out at the least and let us know before the PRC meeting of next Wednesday.
Yeah, I will.
I have a quick question. I'm
Yes.
looking at the thing right now. Is the What's highlighted in green, is that how many there are, like the trees, and what's highlighted in blue is how much they're proposing to cut down?
So I believe the green is one property, the blue is a different property, and then the one below that is the third property.
Oh, okay. That's a significant number of trees they want to cut down.
Right. They did mention, or later on, they are leaving a buffer around the edges of the properties, so there wouldn't be a completely visible area of logged property, but I'm not sure exactly how many, which particular trees.
Well, and so the meeting with PRC next week is to just, I think, fill in a lot of these gaps that we're talking about, right? I mean, they're not going
Right.
to walk out of next Tuesday or next Wednesday's meeting on the 9th with an approval to go do this. I mean, I thought I saw that this proposal was just some early stage documentation being provided, but
Yeah.
that, there'll be a whole lot more and probably some more active discussion PRC. Plus, I mean, this is going to be, it doesn't surprise me that they're probably going to have to be multiple permits that they're going to have to obtain and clear hurdles with before they can even move ahead. So I say
Right. This is very, very, very early preliminary proposal. Nothing's been remotely close to being finalized yet.
Yeah.
PRC also will be advising. It's just an idea of, these are the concerns, these are questions, and then they will respond to those questions.
Okay.
Yeah, because they in the material, as I read it, they want to take out mature trees, they want to take out injured trees, they want to look for ones with emerald ash borer damage, stuff like that. But when you have land take lumbered for timber, they generally go through and they mark the trees they're taking. And if they take trees that aren't marked, they have a problem. So I would assume that they have to go out, if they do get permission, they got to go in and mark the trees they're taking. So you can walk through and see.
They do mention the marked trees in there, or in their proposal. So
yeah.
I don't know if they've marked them yet, but they will be marking them.
I would think they haven't yet if they haven't got the permission to do it.
Okay, I'm pleased that we're going to have Noel and Daniel at the meeting with PRC a week from tomorrow, and we'll look forward to continuing our discussion.
Okay.
When we come to other business, reviewing ongoing projects, do you have anything you'd like to update us on there, Brad?
Those are what we currently have for you. Yeah, that is what I have for you right now.
And I know Roseanne is not with us tonight, so we won't do the updates from EMC. We do have another thing to discuss, and I think it would be your proposal, Daniel, for the fall, as I would understand it, beginning on what date would you like to have us meet at 7:30?
September meeting would work because August, I don't start until late August. So the first September meeting.
And the class that we're referring to here is an online class for you?
It's a remote class. Yeah.
A remote class. So you'd probably be working then from home. And if we move to in-person meetings at the town hall, would that still work for you, getting there by around 7:30?
I live around 5 minutes away, so it won't be an issue.
Okay, because my hope is that starting next month, if everyone feels comfortable, we could begin meeting in person at the town hall. I think it may still be a while before we have the town hall open to the public, so we probably would be online with Penfield TV, but we would be together in the same room, which I think would be nice. Does anyone have a problem with that?
I'd be all for it.
Yep, no problem.
I'm good.
I mean, I don't mind telling you, I've been vaccinated now for some time and feeling pretty good about getting out again without having to lurk around with a mask and stay away from everybody in the world. And you know, I'm beginning to feel good again. I hope everybody is experiencing some rebirth of normalcy here.
We'll
So-
we'll check with town staff and confirm, make sure with PCTV that that time is going to work.
Okay.
And then we'll check with Doug and make sure that it is okay for staff.
I did have that discussion with Doug and it sounded good to him too.
Okay.
So I do think your conversation with Penfield TV needs to be had. So let's make sure that that's going to work for them.
Well, because Jim, while you were having your computer issues and coming online, I asked Debbie and PCTV and Brad about that because I guess in my mind, I would think we would have to make a motion to move the start time of the meeting, get it seconded and approved to make it a formal change since it is a board meeting and, you know, the schedule's published online as a 7 o'clock meeting start. We have to make notice when we cancel them. So I think either we wait till Brad or Doug gets back to us that PCTV is okay with it, or do we make a motion to approve that time change contingent upon approval from PCTV tonight and just be done with it?
That sounds good, Bert. Why don't we do it that way? Then what you've said at the end there makes sense to me.
Okay.
So
I'll
So-
second that motion.
Yeah. So again, formally, I'll make the motion that starting with the September meeting, we will move the start time from 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. With the contingent upon approval from agreement from PCTV. So that's the motion. Noel, you still seconding?
Yes, sir.
all approved? No
No dissension.
objections? No objections? Then motion is carried and we'll look forward to hearing from Brad and Penfield TV that that's going to work. And then Brad, Doug will take care of the official notice change for starting with the September meeting and probably going through at least the fall semester to accommodate.
Dan.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Had a senior moment there. Sorry, Daniel. Yeah, so let's plan on doing that. Now, let's see. I don't think we have any held items. Do we have any old business anyone wants to bring up? Debbie, do you have anything for us from the town?
Jim, I don't, we have a town board meeting tomorrow night. They're still Zooming our guests. Or anybody that would like to speak to the town board. But we've slowly started to go back in as well into the town. So I think we'll be soon too, the entire board will be having our meetings. But the only thing I have tomorrow to let you know that people that are interested that in what's been going on at Shadow Pines. Tomorrow I have we've discussed this at length with the town board, and we are going to put a proposal out. Well, we did put a proposal out. We're going to have a resolution for Bergman Associates to do some design, some actual a contract with them to do the existing. They're going to do some assessment of and evaluation services for the Clark House, which I know that has been in need of some some TLC, some looking at. We're gonna try to figure out exactly what repairs need to be done, what's a wish list, which something that we need to get that building back in code. There's some safety concerns and so forth, so that we can get that building, if it's at all possible, to be able to get that building back in shape as soon as possible. So that's been something we've been talking about for a while. I know, because it's been about 3 years since we purchased that property at Shadow Pine. So I know you all have been interested in what's going on over there. So the Clark House is going to have some work done on it. So we're excited about that, and hopefully it will be reasonably cost for the fiscally responsible for all of us, for us to be able to do that for the town. So that's pretty much what gives you a little update on Shadow Pines.
So we had an RFP out
Okay.
hoping to interest someone in running that restaurant, didn't we?
It still is out there too, as a matter of fact. There's still some interest there. I'm not sure there. I know that Jim Costello and Supervisor LaFawn have been meeting with them on that too, with the perspective. So there's this is all in preparation for hopefully that somebody would be interested in utilizing that building. So because it is a beautiful, it's a beautiful old building. So, but it does have some work.
Yeah, thanks for that update, Demi.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have any other items they'd like to bring to our attention?
Each other, not picking on each
I have a quick question. Are we going to be going to I think it was the old quarry where RIT bought? I remember I was gonna see, like, do a review around there, but I've not heard anything since then.
I have no.
Yeah, I was part of that too.
Yeah, let's let Brad speak to that.
Yeah, so no updates as of yet with that. There were some issues with weather at one point. I believe Doug is still working on getting a site visit. I haven't heard anything about that recently.
Yeah, I think my recollection was there were about 3 of you that were gonna take a look at that site whenever that visit could be arranged.
That's correct.
Daniel, you were one, and I think Noel.
Yes.
And who was the third? Was it Jeff?
Yeah, me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And this is Eileen. I am I'm filling in for Ed Linskog from the Trails Committee, and I was going to attend that also. And Terry Bruce tried to walk through there and got kicked out, and he has 3 degrees with RIT's alumni, and he used to work for RIT, and they still wouldn't let him in.
Yeah, obviously.
They don't want anybody walking through.
Obviously, they have security on site, and we will need to make that visit, consistent with their security.
Right.
Okay, I think we're almost at the point where I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And I hear no objections.
None whatsoever.
I think we will do that, but I look forward to seeing you all in July.
Thank you.
Thank you. So
And
long,
Thanks,
Jeff.
everybody.
Have a good
Bye.
evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep, bye-bye.